Here's how I got my HESI scores to go from looking like this to this. I want to preface this by saying I am not a naturally good test taker. In fact, that's usually where I lack. It might be a little bit of test anxiety, or like I mentioned in my NCLEX video, not knowing test strategies. Usually I can do really good in a class and really suck on the tests. But there are two big things that I did that helped me improve my HESI test scores. So my school used Evolve Elsevier. On Elsevier, there's the option to make your own EAQs and practice questions. However, I never really found that helpful. I didn't think that the way Evolve wrote questions was very similar to HESI tests. In Evolve, there's the option to download other resources. So I downloaded the Clinical Judgment and Test Taking Strategies 7th edition. This is an online resource that has practice questions that, to me, looked just like the HESI. What I also liked about it was you could test yourself on just certain subjects or certain HESI topics. If your school does not use Elsevier, I believe you can make an account for free. The only thing you'll have to pay for is the book. I think it costs around $35, but it's worth it. So when you open this book, click on Review Questions, then go to Study and Content area. From here, it'll give you a set of questions based on whatever content area you choose, and with each question, it will give you a rationale and a test-taking tip. I did all the questions for whichever test I was studying for. I read the rationales, so then I would test myself on the things I was getting wrong until I knew all of them. Now, the one thing I didn't like about this resource was that there was only a certain number of questions per topic, and I needed more. So then I would go to Quizlet. On Quizlet, just search up the name of the HESI that you're studying for and choose the one that has the most questions or the most flashcards, and then study them. After switching from just reviewing the textbooks and the content that I got in lecture, now doing Quizlet and the Clinical Judgment and Test Taking Strategies book, my scores went way up. And I was seeing a lot of the same questions that I was studying in my HESI exams. I was probably one of the only people in my cohort using these resources, and it paid off.